Right. Well, this is definitely a surprise. I wasn't expecting to come here and speak today at all. And as a matter of fact, if you would have met me 6 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do this. I wouldn't be able to be giving eye contact to you. I wouldn't be giving voice to my story. I was barely making it through the day. I was really good at doing my job because that was about survival for me. So I had a part of myself that was able to actually function very, very well in order to perform at work. But outside of work, I was very closed off. I was very afraid to connect with people, and I was very afraid to be a part of the world because I had found out that it was really just unsafe to be in the world. So my story is a little bit different than some of the stories that you might have heard, and a lot of the stories in the media kind of project the story that a lot of times it's girls who are, and it is the majority, that girls are between the ages of 12 and 14, and that's when they get involved in these, in being trafficked and those kinds of things. However, my story began when I was born. I was born into a family who was into an organized group. So there's a lot of different words for what that's called. Some people say it's a cult, some people say it's ritual abuse. There's sexual abuse, torture, all kinds of words that you can put around it. What I knew is it was my life, and it's all that I knew from the time that I was born. And so it's been a lifetime of me trying to figure out how to heal from that. I did get out of the situation completely when I was 20 years old. That wasn't an easy thing to do. And a lot of people, and some of you guys are sitting here, some of my employees who work for me are actually here today and probably had no idea that this is like the story that I have. And so I feel a little bit vulnerable talking about it, but what I did realize is that I had this vision when I was in therapy, and I've been in therapy now for 13 years straight, going 2 to 3 times a week to try and heal from the abuse. And I had this vision of these, creating these butterflies that I was going to send out away from me, and that was going to be all the parts of myself that held all the different parts of the trauma. And I had, it was a beautiful vision. I was going to do this release ceremony, and that stuff was no longer going to be a part of me. And so my therapist, she let me believe that for a while, and I kind of walked around with this theory that this was all going to work, and it's going to be a great day when I didn't have all of that stuff inside of me anymore. And then she gently started telling me a little bit more each time that she's like, well, it's kind of, this is part of you. This is part of who you are. And I cried a lot. I didn't know what I was going to do with that. That didn't fit with my vision. I thought about quitting therapy or finding a different therapist because I was like, well, that's not working with what I want to do. And so then I realized that she was right, that there wasn't any getting rid of it. It is who I am. And so what was I going to do with that? I was like, well, that is just, it's a really fucking real deal, right? And so I was like, I've got to figure out something else to do about it. So I decided to start speaking a couple of years ago and sharing with others what my story is so that they know it exists and it's not something that just happens to somebody that that looks like this. I think there's also this image out there that, a person who's been trafficked looks like a certain thing. And, or that we have a scarlet letter on our forehead that says, hey, this is what happened to me. And that's just not the case. I was born into this family, so pretty much all I knew. There was a lot of abandonment issues, so a lot of times I was kept in isolation. So that is in itself a whole big piece to heal. But as far as the trafficking goes, it started out with my family kind of grooming me into what bigger roles that they wanted me to do. So there were small groups of people that they took me to, and then there was larger groups. So their life revolved around a calendar of events. And it sounds very scary, I think, to some people who aren't familiar with that. But when you grow up in that and you don't know any different, it's just kind of what life is. And so still to this day, I have the different days as they come up, like the change of the seasons, the holidays. They have their own, the full moon. I see so many posts on Facebook about people celebrating the full moon. And you have to understand that sometimes those things are not, those things are huge triggers for other people. And it's not that you shouldn't continue to post them, but just being conscientious of the fact that not everybody maybe is feeling the same way as you do when they see those things is really huge to recognize. So they started actually, so they would give me to these groups of people who did all sorts of horrible things. And I won't get into the graphic details of what those things were, because that's not really the point. As I got older, and I was like 12, 13, that range that we talk about when most girls began to be trafficked, so my family found that that was a nice source of income for them to start selling me. So they would take me to a warehouse, and my responsibility was to come back with money from those people that were frequenting the warehouse that they had taken me to. It was pretty much an everyday kind of thing for me. It wasn't much of a break, and people say, well, how do people not know, right? Well, I grew up in a super small rural community in Illinois. It was very remote, and there was a lot of people in the community involved. So a lot of, like, it's hard for us to think about it, but there was teachers involved, there was police officers involved, there was people in the church involved. If you looked at my family from the outside, we went to church every Sunday, and we looked as though we were very Catholic and practicing all of those things. But at night, what my family practiced was anti-Catholicism. And so they did the opposite of all of the things that would have been taught on a regular basis in the church. So I still have a lot of trouble with like religion and really kind of coming around with that. So I learned to deal with it by dissociating. So I spent a lot of my time dissociated, and that's been what a lot of my healing work's been around. It's been probably the hardest thing is to learn to be present. So the way that I coped was I broke myself into like lots of little different parts of myself. And I know that sounds pretty frightening too, right? So these were like a lot of imaginary friends that I had because I was alone and I was isolated a lot. So if you take it back to that phase where you're isolated, alone, you create somebody to be there with you, or somebody that didn't happen to me, it's happening to this part of myself. So I first had to learn how to start coping more in this world. I had to like start learning how to deal with that dissociation. I met a therapist about 6 years ago who does equine-assisted psychotherapy, and that's where I started seeing the huge amount of difference, because I was able to start connecting with something that I could trust. It was humans who hurt me the most, so it was really hard for me to connect with other humans. In doing that work, it's brought me where I'm at today, where I can, I'm much more highly functioning. I have hobbies now. I'm more present in being able to feel myself in the today, which is quite a gift. And I really attribute it to being able to learn through the work with the horses. I'll skip back to like how I got out. You might be curious about that. So when I was 14 years old, it was happening at school one day, and another teacher walked in. So there was a trial, and so that person was caught in the action of performing these acts with me and another student. And at that point, the group couldn't really protect that teacher any longer. So he was tried, because it no longer becomes about you or about what my family can do. It's, the state. It was the state of Illinois who was placing charges against this person. So at that point, my life it was very dangerous for me, because this group blamed me for that person being tried and ultimately going to prison. And so what seemed like horrific abuse before became even more violent after that point. How I survived, I don't really know. I saw a lot of very horrific things. I saw a lot of death. I think I had the ability, because of my dissociation, to be able to disconnect from myself enough to be able to be very compliant. And I never lost my will or drive or need to want to connect with others. And I think that was probably like one of the biggest things that saved me, not only from the group of people, but from myself. So others have talked about that suicidal piece that comes up, and definitely it was always there. If probably I was at risk after leaving there for anything, it was risk of myself, and being able to learn how to live with that. Thank you so much for your patience.